1799, the Lazaretto was built, and it's the oldest surviving quarantine station in the Western Hemisphere. It was used for after the yellow fever epidemics in the area, and then protected Philadelphia from 1801 to 1895 from any imported epidemics. The building became municipal offices in 2020 and then closed down when we had the pandemic of COVID. Making my way to the South Philadelphia area, I did find this mural created in 1987 by 14 high school students and the New York based artist Keith Haring. And it is one of the only remaining murals that still exists as that collaborative effort. It was created in 1987 to coincide with the bicentennial of the United States Constitution. Take a look at what these high schoolers created and the fact that this has lasted since 1987. I love parks, and this Franklin Delano Roosevelt Park in southern Philly or South Philly is one to certainly explore. It is beautiful and certainly far larger than it appears in this video. It has a picturesque park and paths with architecture and landscape that is simply amazing. It's now earned the nickname The Lakes and has become a popular swimming spot for the folks in Philadelphia. Nestled in the FDR Park in Philadelphia is this extraordinary building. It stands out as being above the rest of the park and certainly has a gorgeous view. It's also set up so that the entire building is similar on one side and the other, so it has this great symmetry to it. Upon walking in at the front door, you had to ring a bell and then someone would let you in. Once inside, I was able to take a look at cultural identity items and history items from Swedish immigrants and how their history brought them to the United States. I got to see their textiles, their weaving, their knitting, their embroidery, lace making, etc. before I headed to Fort Mifflin. Fort Mifflin might be a fort that you have not heard about. It was built by the British in 1771 in order to protect Philadelphia. And then in the fall of 1777, George Washington had a bunch of defeats in the Philadelphia area. And so he was hoping that this would be the place that would be the stronghold for the last extremity, as they knew they were going to be fighting the navy of the British. Ultimately, this became surrounded by the British, and in the end, the soldiers here did leave. However, they were never defeated. They were never surrendered. They were simply defeated. Can you tell which building was for the soldiers and which were for the officers? The one to our right is actually the soldiers' barracks. It was initially constructed in 1797 and indicated that there were 7 rooms in that building. This building, on the other hand, the one that has 2 stories, was for the officers. It was built in 1814 to replace housing that was already there. And it contained 4 apartments. 2 apartments per floor.
one for each of the 4 officers.
This enormous ant sculpture marks where a punk rock clothing and accessory shop was. The Betsy Ross House is a definite stop if ever you are in Philadelphia. This is the place that Betsy Ross sewed the first Stars and Stripes flag. This would have been her chambers where she slept. And it was where she did this kind of sewing so that it could be kept hidden. At the time, making something like this would be treason. And so she had to hide her sewing from prying eyes.
Walt Whitman, May 31, 1819 to March 26, 1892. Author of Leaves of Grass, the most extraordinary piece of wit and wisdom that America has yet contributed. His life was an affirmation of freedom. His poetry was a celebration of life, and his philosophy was a preparation for death. I depart as air. I shake my white locks at the runaway sun. I effuse my flesh in eddies and drift it in lacy jags. I bequeath myself to the dirt to grow from the grass I love. If you want me again, look for me under your boot soles.
With a beautiful view of the pond, the Walt Whitman's family tomb is actually built into the hillside here in the Harley Cemetery in Camden, New Jersey. The place is beautiful and peaceful. Did you know that the first partially complete dinosaur skeleton was discovered in Haddonfield, New Jersey in 1858? Thanks for joining me on this journey. I'll see you next time.